Well, Nelly. All right. Hey, everybody. Charles at the LA Amp Show 2011, and I'm here with Bruce Clement from BC Audio out of San Francisco. And Bruce is showing off two new amplifiers that he's got here. Tell us all about them, man.
Well, amplifier number 9 is a 45 watt non-master volume amp that has a built-in boost that you can vary at the front panel and is foot switchable. It also has an optional effects loop. You've got bright volume and normal volume that you mix together to give a pretty wide variety of sounds. And then you have presence and depth, which give you more control over the frequency response of the power section of the amp. Amplifier number 10, below that, is a 50 watt EL34 amp that has, it's a single channel, but it has a gain boost and a volume boost. So you actually have more options than just a typical two-channel amp. You can have increase the gain and increase the volume independently, and of course you can control how much of gain and volume boost you can dial in. This is my first amp with a tone stack. It has bass, mid, and treble. It also has the presence and depth controls on it. It has an effects loop standard. The number 9 has an effects loop as an option, and I don't think I mentioned number 9 is KT66 output tubes and GZ34 rectifier.
And you made some interesting tube choices for the preamp section, as you were
Right.
explaining to me earlier here.
Yeah, the preamp section, I don't use 12AX7s or 12 anything 7s. I use 6SL7s, which are octal preamp tubes. And to me, they have a bigger sound, more of a power tube-like sound, particularly when they're overdriven. So it's a little bit different character. It still sounds familiar, still sounds like a rock amp, but to me they sound much more like a big amp being overdriven than 12AX7s do. And they don't have that sort of, harshness that you sometimes get with 12AX7s. Of course, 12AX7s have been used for years, in many great classic, wonderful amps that, you can't argue with them. But these just sound a little bit different and have a little bit more of a power tube kind of character.
All right, well, this is sounding pretty cool so far. Let's hear a little more of the 10, perhaps. Cool. Well, you want to plug in the 9 now, and maybe we can hear some. We can compare the two and hear what some of these differences are. So is it just me, or am I hearing a little more rasp in this one? Maybe good rasp, that is.
Yeah, it's a non-master design, so you're hearing the power tubes a little bit more than the other one at the volume we were listening to. So, we've got quite a bit of the bright volume dialed in there, and a little bit less normal volume. So the two channels get mixed together, and like I said, you can vary the amount of each. And the boost is on, which gives you a little bit more gain, and and again the presence and depth. Yeah. Allow you to control. Get a little bit of thump with the depth. It ups the low frequency end at the low frequency response at the back end of the amp.
So if you're gonna say assign one of these respective amps to kind of a player type, do you have any idea about how you would approach that?
Well, they're both designed for the gigging guitarist, and in fact, I tweak my amps. I'm in a band, a semi-professional band, and I take my prototypes to rehearsal and even gigs, and I have switches on them to try different components. And so I tweak the sound so that I know that it works not just in your living room or sitting in your bedroom, but it actually works in the context of a band situation. And having a non-master volume means that you're going to be playing loud if you want overdrive. So number 10 is more flexible than number 9 in that regard. You can dial down the volume with a master volume control. But they're both designed for the rock guitar player, and number 9 is just, it's simpler and it's a little bit more straightforward. The circuits of both are very simple. They're both single channel amp. Well, there's two channels on there, but they're pretty straightforward, because one of my sort of driving philosophies is the more circuitry your guitar signal has to go through, the more it becomes degraded a little bit at a time. So the simpler the circuit, the purer the sound. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for, and the people who appreciate that is kind of what what my target audience is, if you will.
Cool. Lots of real world experience and common sense from Bruce Clement. Thanks a lot, man. Where can people go to find out more about what you're doing? Because you're up to a lot.
Yeah, bcaudio.com.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bruce. This is Charles signing off from Bruce Clement's place, BC Audio, at the LA Amp Show 2011.